Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Skillveda's webinar on classroom management and student engagement. Skillveda is your partner in transforming education through innovation, inclusion, and global competencies. Skillveda is an ISO certified UNO, MSME, and Niti Aayog registered organization working only for education. We empower your growth with expert-led learning that is flexible and tailored to you. Let's start with the simple truth. A child who is busy learning is rarely busy disturbing. The biggest challenge in any class is not the syllabus, it's keeping students interested, involved, and focused. Good classroom management is not about being strict, it's about creating a space where every child feels safe, heard, and excited to learn. In today's session, we will keep it practical and easy. We will talk about simple ways to set class rules that students actually follow, how to handle common behaviors like talking or lack of focus, and how to make your lessons so engaging that students want to participate. We will share ready-to-use ideas for attention grabbers, group work, transitions, and building a positive classroom culture. Things you can try from very next class. Let's extend a warm welcome to Ms. 𝗖𝗹𝘀𝘀𝗿𝐺, our expert trainer, a CBSE resource person, and education consultant with more than 20 years of experience in education. Welcome, Ms. 𝗖𝗹𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗃.
Thank you, Twinkle. Thank you very much. I think I am as excited and happy to be here as the participants who've already joined before time. So, do we wait for some time or do we get started?
So we can start.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's a warm summer evening. So, can I just quickly have the cameras on for whoever is not really lazing around and not really occupied in other stuff other than the webinar? So if that's possible, I'll be really happy, and this webinar is going to be more engaging. I know it's a summer afternoon and everybody wants to be a little more relaxed, but just to make it more interactive, I think it's important for us to see each other. All right. Thank you, Rajesh ji. Thank you, Nimisha. Thank you, Ms. Ruchi Agarwal. Can I quickly now know where all are you from and what school and in what capacity do you work?
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Nimisha, and
Yes.
I am from Greater Noida,
Okay.
and I'm working with 𝗪shi International School, Greater Noida.
Okay. 𝗪shi International. Yes. You're working as?
PRT teacher.
All right. Okay, great. Welcome to the session, Nimisha. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Who else would want to introduce herself?
My name is Ruchi Agarwal. Basically, I'm from Lucknow, but currently I'm working in Hardoi as the headmistress for the school DPSD public school.
DPSG, the DPSG branch, the entire chain.
Yeah, no, DPSD public school.
DPSD, okay, not G. D. All right. Okay, all the way from Hardoi. Thank you. Thank you for being with us today afternoon. Yes, who else would want to take a chance to take the turn to introduce? You know, it's better to say it out loud, Alokji, rather than chatting in the chat box, because I think the more engaging and interactive this session is, the more it's going to be full of learning for all of us. And I don't know how many of you have attended my sessions earlier. I've always said this, that the learning happens both ways. Trust me, in this 1.5 years, I'm going to learn a lot from you all than only learning flowing from one side to another. Learning never flows from one side. It's always mutual. It's always a two-way thing. Yes, Linta Lokhande, Dali Mishra, Preeti Singh, Juliet, Ruchi, Setia, Alokji, would you all want to introduce yourselves? Okay, then let's get started. I'm here today to conduct this session on classroom management and student engagement. As a counselor for schools in this field for so many years now, I think the one thing that teachers always struggle about is how to keep the classroom completely engaged. 35 minutes, tons of syllabus, every lesson plan to be completed, perfect discipline in the class. Of course, headmistress ma'am would know it, that when the headmistress is on round, every teacher wants the class to be a 10 on 10, right? Otherwise, it goes on record. So, and with the technology coming into our classes, cameras with audio, visual, everything being recorded, I think we are very particular about what's going on in the class. So much so that the real learning is somewhere lost. What we're trying to do is we're just trying to make the children quiet. That don't make noise, don't make a ruckus, don't have the class which is chaotic. So in the end, we're going to be talking about how this can be dealt with, and is a classroom that is quiet the ideal classroom. Thanks to Skillveda, we've been able to bring out certain strategies that come right to your desktop in this 1.5 hours. And we're going to be talking about what all are the clear classroom expectations. What is the difference between positive discipline, positive reinforcement, and punishment? How do you manage transitions? How can a teacher be a leader in the classroom and ensure that children are actually following what she's saying? How do you apply actual solutions that work, that are not just bookish in nature, that are not just there to be, written in a booklet and done with it? How do you happen to screen children with special needs, to manage actually hyperactive children, children who just cannot sit for 5 minutes straight, children who are disturbing the class every now and then, children who are just not letting you move the classroom forward, the syllabus forward, and children who are gifted. So a lot of strategies, and it's not going to be a one-way session. So please be ready to interact. Please be ready to talk to each other, talk to us, talk to me. Please be ready with all of that. Right? Now my question to you all, what do you think is a picture perfect classroom? Sangeeta ji, good evening. Alok ji, good evening. I just said that instead of using the chat box, it's better to unmute, say it. It's a small room that we have, a small audience that we have, so it's great to interact. A larger audience is not something I prefer for these kind of webinars anyway. So what do you think is a picture perfect classroom? Anybody who would want to take the lead?
Ma'am, perfect classroom means it should be interactive,
Okay.
and students should participate or interact with each other, with teacher, and whatever teacher is saying, they should get more interest in on that topic, and they can also share their views. If suppose anyone is not interacting, not understanding, so somebody is always should present to explain those things, so that students can teach each other to share their concept also. Likewise.
So a lot of collaborative learning is happening. A classroom that looks very exciting, is interactive, is not dull, is not quiet, like absolutely disciplined and no child is allowed to learn, right? So what do you think is effective classroom management? Is it proactive or reactive? Here I've written it's proactive. What do you mean by it? What do we mean by proactive classroom management? Anybody else who would want to interact? Rajesh ji, Preeti ji, you want me to give you a lecture? I'll give you a lecture and move out. But I think it's more, it's a happier space when it's interactive.
Means ma'am, proactive means maybe they should correlate with their understanding or previous knowledge.
Classroom management being proactive means that it is not a response to a situation. It is a situation that you create in the classroom that falls in place in such a manner that it is this is what you wanted it to be. It is not a response to something that is already happening in the classroom. Students are making noise is why you design an activity quickly and then you give it. No. You already need to come with an activity to the classroom so that students don't make unnecessary noise and their learning is happening. That is what is proactive. It is always pre-thought. It is always well thought. It is designed. It is talked about. That's how it is put together. That is what you mean by a proactive, effective classroom. And here I would want you to all to go to this particular website called the classroomseatingplan.com, where a lot of templates according to the number of students can be made as to what the physical layout of the classroom could be. So you're going to get this entire thing like a PDF, and we'll share all of these links out there. So please make sure throughout my session, I will be sharing a lot of links that are there for extra reading. I don't believe that in 1.5 hours, I can tell you and teach you every little thing. That really doesn't happen. Let's be a little proactive and learn a little more. So that's why I will share the resources where I collate information. I give you a glimpse of it and go ahead, read more. So this is a website that gives you all the templates. So if there are about 30 students in the class, 25 students in the class, what kind of a classroom setup can you have? What kind of a physical classroom setup can you have? That is what it talks about. And this has to be a well-designed, well-thought of arrangement, not an arrangement that is just there by default. And then you start reacting to it. Okay, this is not right. Let's make this, let's make that. That's not how it happens. All right. Now, what makes a classroom ideal? I'm going to be taking names of people who are not reacting at all in the webinar, because I would really want everyone to react. So Preeti Singh, Rajesh Kumar, Miss Lokhande, Dali Mishra, Alok Dubey, Ruchi Setia, all those people who are saying good evening in the chat box, please switch on your mic and answer my questions. What makes a classroom ideal?
Very good evening, ma'am. This is
Good
Preeti
evening.
Singh.
Good evening,
Uh,
Preeti.
An ideal classroom is a classroom where the students are always keen to give the answers. They are interactive or every time, and a teacher also motivate every time. The student need not any external motivation. Means teacher itself is an ideal figure where a teacher can motivate the student to interact and to do the things by their own without any further instruction. Like they can do the things because they know. So I
Wow,
think
you brought in a very nice this thing thought to it. This is called intrinsic motivation. Please remind me. We will talk about it in detail. Thank you, Preeti, for elaborating on that point. That's really wonderful.
Ma'am, can we add this one more thing, like classroom, ideal classroom? It should be like where a student can be uh, free, very freely can learn anything, and they are getting more interest, and they are very very comfortable without any fear, without any hesitation. They can learn each and everything. That should
Okay.
be ideal classroom.
Okay, very nice. Yes, anybody else? Excellent. No hesitation, no fear, full complete confidence. That is what we call an ideal classroom. Anybody else would want to just give me an answer? Give it a try. All right. According to the University of Salford, the classroom environment can actually affect the academic progress. And it's a huge percentage of 25%. This is a link which is clickable. So when you get the PDF, please go on to this link and read more about this particular study. There are studies that a lot of good universities do. And these research-based studies actually help us design our classroom strategies. Yes, it's completely right. A student has to feel safe, motivated, supported. Learning has to happen. It is a complete overall culture. The values, the interactions. What is expected by the teacher, what is expected in the classroom is what this ideal classroom looks like. Also, getting this environment right is not an option. We cannot be thinking that, okay, if I have the time, I will do it. If I want to, I will do it. If the class is very, chaotic, then I will do it. No. It is an absolute mandate for all of us. It is a structure that balances flexibility. There is flexibility. At the same time, there is learning happening. There are certain mandates to be covered. This has to be done with rules. But at the same time, there is certain amount of flexibility. Also, it is not just about content delivery. Imagine if I was not interacting. Imagine if I was just talking here, and it was just about content delivery, and I wouldn't even bother about who's there in the webinar. Would it be as great? Would it actually affect you so much that, okay, I was touched personally? No, it wouldn't. We are here shaping a complete youth, the youth of tomorrow. We are shaping a community of learners. We are not just there to deliver a content, move out. Yes, the teacher today has to wear many hats. And we have to do it. There is no option. So while we are doing it, why not do it happily and proactively? We are the counselors, we are the dancers, we are the singers in the classroom, we are the rhyme people, we are the people who are talking to children if they are disturbed, we are the monitors, we are the rewarding people, we are everybody, right? We are everybody. So let's do it more proactively. This is again a blog that I have used, which talks about the ideal classroom scenario. Please read it. Again, now, what are the characteristics of an ideal classroom? Just to give you a very quick sum up of it is what I will run through these points. And if anybody wants to add on something, please feel free to just unmute and disturb the class. I'd love this class to be a little more disturbing. So an ideal classroom will run smoothly. Yes. The materials, whatever students need, are very accessible. The routines are established. When the class teacher enters, they know what is expected. They know what they have to do. So I'm a counselor and I take regular classes. I make sure that I take regular classes. I deal only with senior students right now. But when my team deals with younger students also, I make sure that every student, there are few ground rules that they have for my class. One, their desk has to be absolutely empty. It's a classroom, it's a counseling class. So imagine they tell me, ma'am, it's a free period. This is a free period. Counseling is not padhai. You don't have an exam. So my ground rule number 1 is your desk has to be empty, no distraction at all. My ground rule 2 is you have to have a small pocket diary in which you write down certain techniques that I tell you. So when I talk about study skills, I talk about exam stress, I talk about time management. And if they don't write it down, it doesn't get registered. So they're all supposed to maintain one. If not a pocket diary, like senior students will not do it. So I actually pull out their almanac and ask them to write something or the other. And it's not just writing all the points that I'm talking in 40 minutes. No, just that one thing that touched you the most in the classroom. So there's certain ground rules that I have now. After so April, we start the new batch. April goes by and the moment May and June comes in, they know that, okay, if this ma'am is going to, if 𝗖𝗹 ma'am is coming to class, this is what is expected. They see me and they know it. So let's have those routines there. In between activities, when you leave the classroom for the other teacher to enter, that is the most chaotic time. If you tell them something that, okay, in this time period of 5 minutes or 2 minutes, can you just do this thing for the classroom? And especially if you're a class teacher. Most importantly, if you're a class teacher, please tell them, can you just align the desks? Make sure that your rows are in proper order. Make sure that the class is not dirty. Can you just call Didi in between for 2 minutes and get the classroom cleaned? Simple little things. You have that activity in between that transition. The transition actually happens without any confusion. The entire structure is about students. It's also important for students who are dealing with stress and instability. Please understand you have a whole cohort which is not heterogeneous at all. Sorry, it's not homogeneous at all. It is a completely heterogeneous cohort. It is a cohort where no two children come from the same background. No two children come from this with the same mindset. No two children come with the same stability. So that structure has to be dealing with every single student. Predictable routines, predictable rituals. Give them a sense of control. I know what is going to happen. The entire anxiety of what today. Sometimes that little surprise is good. That, okay, today, we're going to go out of the classroom and study. We're not going to be sitting in the classroom. A little, tweak in the routine. But most students perform better when they know what's coming. They are prepared for it. They are mentally prepared for it. So let's stick to that. Again, this is the entire blog in which there are elements of positive classroom management. And when you read these blogs, there are a lot of links given under that. Please read. Clear expectations. And there is something called positive reinforcement. Can anybody talk about it? What is it?
Ma'am, positive reinforcement means like when we are giving some good comments, like very good, keep it up. That is something we are giving it positively. But sometimes what happens when the child is not doing good, but we are putting a statement which is very negative, like you can do it better. We are not saying that what are you doing? You're not doing good. This is not the comment. Should be like you can do better. Try again. This is something like positive reinforcement.
Okay, great. Thank you for giving us that insight on it. Anybody else? Anybody
Ma'am,
else who would, yeah.
Ma'am, instead of giving a negative feedback or negative comment, we have to tell them the effect of those wrong thing. Suppose any student is doing scratching on the wall or scratching on the desk, so instead of that we will complain about you, or this is not good, we should not do this like this, giving this sentence. Instead of that, we have to say, if you are making it bad, that if you are scratching it, that it doesn't look good, then do you like good it is, do you feel comfortable with that? Same
Okay.
means this type of sentence we have to tell them so that they can understand the effect of those things.
Okay,
Ma'am,
great. Thank
adding
you.
to it, I can
Yes,
say that it is something like giving a reward to a child to get our desired thing, like what we want from the children. We can get it by giving that positive things to them, like that particular reward. Like Skinner, it is written Skinner theories about that only. So I
absolutely.
think that is amazing.
Absolutely. That's why I wanted to give you a little hint about it. So if everybody doesn't know it, they would want to go and read about it. So B.F. Skinner was an American scientist, a psychologist who came out with this entire theory about positive reinforcement. And this was an experiment done on a dog. But he correlated this, and further Pavlov also came with this entire theory, which could be applied on children and humans. That if you're positively engaging a child and you're giving them a certain reward for a particular activity, it only goes to another level. And if you want to curb a behavior which is undesirable, how you make sure that you act on it? Basically, the word reinforcement is when the desired behavior is being rewarded. Okay, so that is when the child wants to do it again and again. So something like the child has done something great in the classroom. So we say that, yes, this is great work, and we give it some kind of a reward, which could be tangible, intangible. Usually we don't give tangible rewards in schools. We give very intangible rewards, or maybe a star, maybe, the group captain for a week, a little things. And even for senior students, it really matters. It really, really matters. But the negative side is that we remove something. If the desired behavior is not really happening, we remove and we create some unpleasant distressed feeling for the child, where the child feels, oh my God, this has been taken away from me. In rare cases, yes, this is also important that we give that kind of a consequence to the style. Okay, if you're doing this, this is what is next happening. So I remember there's a particular new organization that I've joined, and this organization, what they're doing is, if they have two children fighting in the classroom, they don't have a system of punishment. What they have is a peace table in the corridor. What they do is these two children are made to sit there till the time they don't resolve their issues. So yes, they miss a particular class. Usually that class is a non-academic class, so that the loss is not really happening. The academic loss is not happening. Because these children are in the corridor and they're sitting on a table, they are in the eyes of everybody who passes by. And it's written peace table, so everybody knows that they must have done something. So they're kind of embarrassed also to be there, but at the same time, it's not really a punishment. So they usually come back to the class completely sorted. And we have to understand what is punishment. These are very, very undesirable behaviors where absolutely unpleasant consequences happen. And trust me, corporal punishment, any kind of punishment is not even allowed in schools anymore. So, jail to nahi jana hai. So, let's make sure that's not happening. Now, this is a chart that I just particularly put it up for here so that you all could understand this, how positive reinforcement will increase the likelihood of a particular behavior, how negative will increase the likelihood of a particular behavior. So like nagging. So something like pinning the child again and again, that's negative reinforcement. A positive punishment is to decrease that particular behavior. So we have to understand that if you're putting them in a corner and we're making them sit separately, it's a very positive kind of punishment. But the negative is that we've taken away something from them. Okay, you're not going to be going to games. You're going to sit in the class alone throughout the period. That's, of course, something negative that they don't like. So that's something we don't do. Okay? You can take a screenshot if you want of this particular thing. These are certain strategies that I've mentioned here, which I thought would be very useful for you. One very important part is the consistency. If you react in a certain manner on a particular day and an absolutely different manner on another day, then I'm sorry, it really doesn't help. The reward has to come consistently. One child knows that I did something and ma'am did not do anything. So children learn from each other. If one child was rewarded for a particular behavior, the other child is there learning silently. That, ma'am rewarded this particular boy because he did a particular kind of act. Let me also try and do this. Some of them, at least 10 to 20% of your children will try to do that next time for your reward. But if that consistency is not there, then you're going to lose out on that particular child doing anything again. And it has to be there and then. It cannot wait for another time to be appreciated. The reward has to come immediately. Children are children, the most impulsive characters that we have in our, in our community. So the reward has to come immediate. You have to celebrate the progress. It's not about you're not there yet. Let's not talk about the ideal state we expect the children to be. Let's talk about a state of improvement and comparison from your own self rather than from somebody else. Comparison with another student is not desirable. Comparison and improvement with myself is definitely what we are looking at, right? It has to be as a condition for something great that you have done. Rewards cannot be just distributed every now and then. We have to make sure of that as well. And it has to be accompanied with some amount of appreciation, very sincere appreciation. Trust me, children know exactly if you're being fake or you have appreciated them sincerely. Age appropriate rewards. आप 11th के बच्चे को absolutely non-age appropriate star smiley दे दोगे, it doesn't work. So make sure that you are treating children as you would want yourself to be treated in that particular age group. There are a lot of times that groups of children do something good. So make sure that the entire group is recognized. You leave one person also out, that person will remember you always and not do something like that again. Also, make sure you set very clear expectations before the issues arrive, before the issues come up in the classroom. And you leverage peer influence. Peer influence is super important. Make sure that one child who's using some kind of positive reinforcement to improve their behavior involves the other one also and tells the other one, look, this is what I've been doing, why don't you also try this? So this really works. There's a whole infographic that I made for you people to understand what this entire positive and negative reinforcement is, how it strengthens behavior, how punishment will weaken the behavior. Imagine you send this particular child outside the class to stand because he did not get a notebook. He is in a win-win situation. I don't even have to attend the class. Wow, next time I do not bring my book also. So I'm also out of the class again. Then how you make sure that the delivery is very effective. Then how, so this entire infographic is about all of this positive and reinforcement talk that we've just done. How a particular stimulus can be added, has to be removed to make sure the negative reinforcement comes in, positive reinforcement comes in, some common mistakes, some environments that we create that have not to be used. So please make sure that you've taken a screenshot of this. Otherwise, also it's coming to you in a PDF. Any questions till now? Anybody who wants to ask me anything? I'll give you all 2 minutes to register this and then we will move forward. All right. Anybody who wants to ask anything? Yes. Yes, Preeti ji? You want to ask something?
No, ma'am. Actually, I'm answering your question that I don't want to ask any question.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's move forward. These are certain situations that I have on the board. And there are certain possible causes and responses to it. So instead of going into detail, I'll give you all 5 minutes to read through it, take a screenshot of it if you want, for you to keep it privately. And then we'll discuss certain cases also. We'll have a session of certain situations also. If there is any particular student that comes to your mind where you can associate that student with this particular situation, please let me know. Please share it with the group so that we all can learn. Anybody who would want to share something with us? You're all teachers, you're all educators in the classrooms. You're all the leaders of the classrooms. You're all in charges of your classrooms. Please share with us if you have ever seen a student who has some kind of emotional outburst, some kind of student who will always be the one to who would want to be heard, somebody who says who would want to just copy the work around, doesn't want to learn, who struggles to work collaboratively, who is, or somebody on the other extreme who's always talking to peers. Everybody in the world is my friend and I want to talk to everybody. Somebody who's disengaged or just withdrawn, doesn't care about what's happening in the class. Somebody who is always late to the school. You've given him a lot of remarks, you've sent the student back home. There are these students every time, everywhere. So please let us know.
Ma'am, in my class, one of the student is very talkative.
Okay.
And he doesn't sit in any one place more than 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, 5 to 10 minutes is a lot for the student.
Yes. So it's very difficult to manage him because उसके कारण दूसरे students also roaming in the class, so it like a disturbance in the class full time. So I appointed as a monitor, notebook monitor. So whenever I feel like I have to collect notebooks, so I used to tell him like you have to collect with them, and when I'm not saying your name, then you have to sit. Otherwise, I will not take your name. I will appoint this charge to somebody else. So he is getting interest, so means उसके कारण वो थोड़ा बैठने चालू किया है, otherwise
Very nice.
he is roaming full
Very,
time.
very nice. Very nice. Excellent. Yes, anybody else? See, we got one strategy. Make the person who's disturbing the class, make him the monitor.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Rajeshji, please.
Ma'am, I want to add one thing.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Sometimes, suppose a student is create a problem, any problem in the college or in the school,
Yes.
and a teacher has a negative thought about that particular student. He's the student, negative student. He did that mistake on that particular day, 20 days earlier, 30 days earlier.
Yes.
And teacher has a negative opinion about that particular student.
Yes.
What I want to say is that a teacher should change his opinion. He should talk to the student after some days, after 20 days, and that negative point should be removed. A good relation should be maintained with that particular student, and that student may forget that particular negative event.
Absolutely. I think
Yes.
very well said.
Yes, ma'am.
A teacher
What-
has to be absolutely unjudgmental, unbiased, and has to break the barriers of one particular negative incident influencing your thought process and making you have that kind of impression for the student for the entire session.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Thank
think
you.
it's a very, very well said point. Thank you, Rajeshji. See,
Thank
this
you,
is
ma'am.
how we learn collaboratively.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, anybody else who would want to say something, please. Share an incident, share a student without taking names. Anybody else? Or should we move forward? All right, we'll move forward then. Okay, so when you're talking about students, when you're talking about positive classroom, you're talking about rules that really, really matter. Please don't make rules which you will not be able to move forward with. Something like this is a classroom sitting and this is not going to change. You will not be able to continue with that because you will have to change the classroom seating sometime or the other. Some parent will complain and say, my child is always sitting at the back. So those kind of rules which you can actually maintain, they are very predictable and they will encourage some kind of responsibility. Also reduce the disruptions, the kind of distractions that happen in the classroom and support learning. Trust me, if there are few rules, very easy to remember, and the ones which are positive in nature, not saying if you do this, I will take you out of the class. You will go to the principal's room. You will go there. You will go there. Please make sure that these are very positive reinforcement rules. So make sure of that and it can work very well. Now, how do we manage transitions and how do we manage time management? Anybody who struggles with time management, that's my question to you all. Give me your hand or unmute. Tell me, how do you struggle with
Ma'am,
time management in the class? Yes, Ruchi.
ma'am, definitely. Actually, not in a teacher way. I'm telling as a headmistress only. Like teachers are taking classes, bell rangs, right? It's very tough for a teacher if one class is in the ground floor and one class is upstairs. So it's very, teachers have to manage their time. In that meanwhile, the students are out of control. They can't manage that particular time. And definitely that time management creates lot of fuss. Secondly, if a particular like 45 minutes period is there for teaching, So when the teacher is not reaching on time in the class, maybe due to something, if she's writing on the blackboard, she can't leave that particular answer that where teacher students are not completing whatever they're going through. The thing is that 45 minutes, I think 10 minutes are totally waste for them also, because reaching over there in the class, giving a recall or revision, what they like previous knowledge, what we say, then
Yes,
starting something new, then syllabus foundation are with the teachers.
absolutely.
Being हाँ वो सिलेबस फाउंडेशन है ही टीचर्स के साथ, वो इतना कंपेल हो जाते हैं और मैम उसी में कहीं ना कहीं वो टीचिंग लैक कर जाती है क्योंकि टाइम मैनेजमेंट नहीं हो पा रहा होता है.
That's true. That is true.
That is, and that is, I think, issue with everyone. I think everybody will agree to me about this. ये होता है मैम, वो planners भी जो set होते हैं. If I am also, ma'am, being a headmistress doesn't mean I have never been a teacher. The thing is, I too face the same thing.
That's true. That's very true, Ruchiji. Because I think teachers actually are on the receiving end from the management also, and from the parents also, the children also. So we teachers are the people who struggle to complete their syllabus. They struggle to manage time within the classroom. They have to keep the children happy and the learning has to go on. Because people like us will tell you that don't tell the students to do this and don't shout at them and don't, compel them, or don't have rules which are very compelling in nature. People like us are also there who have big expectations from teachers. Management is there who says results, where are the results? If your class average is falling, you are answerable. So there are, I think, a lot of things that teachers are expected to do. And running from one classroom to another, switching the mode from grade 6 to grade 8 or grade 8 to grade 6 is definitely a trying task. It's not easy. And trust me, poorly managed transitions, these transitions, when you have to move or the children have to move from one place to another, these are places where a lot of lesson time is compromised. So if there are 40 minutes and CBSE says 40 minutes for a classroom period, CBSE actually means 10, 20 and 10 structure. 10 minutes where you give a recap and you meet and greet the children. 20 minutes is actual learning time, and then the last 10 minutes are the exit ticket. How you wind up the wrap up the classroom. That's important.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it doesn't
recapitulation
really,
last time.
yeah, and last is the recap. So that doesn't really happen that way because we are struggling till the last minute to finish that last question that was supposed to be finished today. And because of some disruption in the class, that didn't happen. So I think a lot of struggle out there, but then there are strategies where you could be actually controlling this entire transition time. So as a headmistress, I'm very happy that you're proactively engaged in this particular session. And if there are any more leaders who are listening to us, there could be certain things that you could do as administrators to help the teachers manage this transition time. You need to have very specific roles that certain teachers do as corridor duties. So when teachers move from one class to another, the entire classroom doesn't go from, well-managed classroom to the most chaotic one. Because it takes no time for any classroom to turn into the chaotic fish market that we call it a lot of
Yeah,
times.
right.
So that could happen. There could be a lot of visual countdown timers. So every classroom today now has a smart screen. So you could have these timers by which, the teacher will reach the classroom, and the students also know that, okay, there is a timer, the countdown is going on. If the time countdown is going on, the next teacher is about to come, and they all quickly settle down before it touches 0. Then there could be certain instructions that are displayed on every single board through the corridors. Visuals actually affect you a lot. Give you a lot of motivation, give you a lot of learning. There was a very simple visual that we did in one of the schools that was that it said this is an English speaking campus. That's it. It did not stress on the fact that you're supposed to speak in English all the time. It did not tell the children, no, you speak in English. It just said that we are an English speaking campus. That's it. And these visuals were there in almost all the corridors. Every single place where the children could, put their eyes on. And slowly it was a good transition. It was a good study over, I think, 6 months to 8 months, when we realized that every child was really trying to speak when they were conversing, at least with the teachers, even if not the students amongst themselves, because amongst themselves they have their own language, which I would not want to get into. But at least with the teachers, they were trying. Because when the teacher is standing in the corridor and right next is the board that says this is an English speaking campus, it would affect the child, right? So those kind of visuals. Again, I talk about routines all the time. I talk about routines at home. I talk about routines in the personal life of a teacher. I talk about routines in a classroom. I talk about routines with a student. And when I do counseling, I make sure that I talk about routines with the students. So routines are important and the consistency has to be there. Very simple 3-step transition formula. Explain, prepare, move. Just remember the EPM. You have to make sure that children understand why we are doing this. I remember when these visuals came on the corridors of English speaking campus, and because it was put up suddenly, and it was a board meeting that we were having with the management, and they said that this is what is expected. So one of the teachers only gave this idea in a whole meeting, and so these children actually came up to us, and these are the junior children, who will ask. The seniors won't bother. The junior children will ask. And they say, ma'am, why have we put up this particular board? We already speak in English. So you have to explain to them that you are speaking in English, but not everybody is. So why don't you also motivate other students to speak in English? And show them the board if they ask you, why are you telling us this? A simple move. A simple thing that we started explaining to the children. We made sure that all the teachers were talking in English because children listen. So they were well prepared when they went to the class. They were well prepared when they were talking to the children of what to keep in mind. And then make sure that the movement, the entire thing happened in such a way. The physical movement, the value-based movement, every movement happened in such a manner. So the transition formula has to be like that. Okay, before I move on to teacher leadership, anything that anybody would like to ask, comment, let us know, please share it with us.
Ma'am, like we told about that English speaking campus, right? What about even we are talking about the students, what about the teachers also, ma'am? Like some teachers are very good in spoken English and they're trying their level best. I'm not saying that teachers are not trying, but they should also get motivated by somehow, na? How to manage that? I'm facing that problem. That's why I think I'm sharing.
I think that can happen by regular trainings, by regular meetings. Emphasize on this one. Again, your consistency in talking about certain things in every single meeting. So when, as a headmistress, you take the meeting of your particular wing, I'm sorry, I need to know which wing do you deal with?
Ma'am, I'm dealing with pre-primary and primary both.
Pre-primary and
I'm
primary. Now
having
they are,
round about 25 sections with me.
oh my God, that's a lot of sections.
Yes, ma'am. I'm
That's a lot
having
of
round
sections.
about 1,100 students with me, ma'am.
Oh my God. 1,000 students
Yeah.
is a lot of students. So,
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am,
eh,
in pre-primary, I'm having 9 sections. In 9 sections, I'm having 18 teachers. 2 teachers
9
in one
sections,
class.
18 teachers. All right. So first thing first, you can always tell them that this is something that is important for you as a soft skill to learn. If you want to go up the ladder, only technical skills of how you teach, what kind of mother teacher rules you have, jolly phonics, or whatever pedagogy you are using to teach the children, that's not the only thing that works. We always talk about T-shape education. And I always say this even in the classroom to students, to senior students, that when you're talking about T-shape education, one is your technical skill and the other, the horizontal bar, is your soft skill. You've already deep dived as a PRT teacher or a teacher of a pre-primary place, the PPT teacher, and you know the skill. You know the technicalities. You know how to deliver content, right? Now is the
Right.
soft skill. If you're speaking to a parent and you're not being able to deliver certain sentences in English, the parent feels that, is my child even there in the right environment? There'll be a lot
Yeah.
of
That's the main
parents
thing.
today. So you have to tell that to the teacher, that parent feedback about you is not always immediate. It comes in bits and pieces and comes in many ways. The parent might just come up to you and say, ma'am, that particular teacher is very good. Can my child again be in that class? Or can you shift that teacher to my class? So that's a positive feedback, right?
Right.
It's not about just the increment in every March. It's also about moving up the ladder. So if you're looking for promotions, then please make sure that your soft skills are in place. As a headmistress, I
Okay.
find your communication very flawless, very good. And that is probably the reason you were put in that position, because you can manage the team of teachers. So
Yeah,
maybe,
I
a
can.
little motivation, a little incentive,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Okay.
the positive reinforcement. Maybe that particular teacher could be the coordinator for some time, the acting coordinator.
Yes.
Maybe you could put them on rotation, the HOD, the subject in charge, whatever you might call it in your school. There are so many.
Mm-hmm.
So these are not exactly leadership positions, but these are positions with a little more responsibility and a little more authority in not exactly the very formal way.
Right.
And then the teacher feels that, okay, I was given this responsibility and a little authority. Then that means there's something more in me than the other teachers, right? Like you make the
Definitely.
class monitor, the child feels, okay, I am definitely better than the others.
Right, right.
So maybe that could work as a motivation for the teachers.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am.
And then regular emphasis on it in every single meeting. इतना कि teacher bore हो जाए. ये मैम तो हर
Ma'am,
meeting में
कभी
ये
कभी
बोलती
होता क्या है, I too forget to speak in English sometimes when they're talking to me totally in Hindi. तो मैं कहती अरे मेरी हिंदी खराब हो जाएगी, तुम लोग की हमारी इंग्लिश खराब हो जानी तुम लोग की वजह से.
So maybe you could also get your hands onto certain webinars which actually
Yeah,
teach the teachers on how to make sure that you're speaking in English all the time.
yeah,
It has to be a very conscious effort. Nobody's born with a language skill. It has
yeah,
to be a
definitely,
very
ma'am. वो तो
conscious
है.
effort. I remember
Yeah.
I was in a convent, and as a nursery class student, I was given
Ma'am, same here. Same here.
it
Ma'am,
was a kind of
throughout convent,
punishment we
ma'am.
were given. I don't even want to
Yes,
talk about
ma'am.
the
Even
corporal
fine of
punishment.
5 rupees. I still remember fine of 5 rupees and our PT teachers, Arena ma'am. I was in Carmel Convent, and they used to take that drumstick even, and they literally when you're going to, they used to just kneel and socks knee. Then we are getting a drum beat on our leg only.
So
That
why
was
don't you
the
do
things
this?
used to
Maybe you
go.
could just start taking a little fine from the teachers if they're not speaking in English.
Ma'am, I have
And you could
told
have a
them ki
drop
I am
box.
giving you. I have told them ki I am giving you 1 month warning. After 1 month, I'm going to inspect you all, and after that, 50 rupees fine I'm going to take whenever I'm going to speak in Hindi.
Very simple fines. Put it in a drop box. Have a party over the month because these
हाँ
people were not
हाँ,
speaking
that's what
English.
वही हम लोग ने करा भी मैम कि after that last of the month whatever the funds will be collected उससे teachers की party कर देंगे.
Yeah. So maybe little things, but then,
Yeah,
if my
definitely.
10 rupees are also going out of my pocket because of something I did not remember to do as a protocol that was asked, I
It
think
will
it
give pain
pinches.
to them.
It pinches. All
Yeah.
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anybody else who has any question? Okay, so then we move on to teacher leadership and presence. When we're talking about teacher leadership, what do we mean? What do we mean by teacher leadership?
Ma'am, it means that she should be, while in the being in the class, she should be very much active. Like they should, whatever statements they are telling to the children or whatever they're taking, that should be very positive. They have to be very consistent toward their work, whatever they are doing, and they should not be biased. They should be fair in their work, and they should keep a good vision. Like what to each and every child doesn't mean that they're paying attention to just one line. They have to look after whole class. If there are 4 rows in the class, they have to take round and they have to just be visible for all the 4 particular lines. They don't have to be biased in that.
All right, great. Thank you, ma'am. Teacher leadership essentially is about the influence. Do you all remember a time that you were influenced by a particular teacher? That particular teacher who was always there in your mind. That one teacher who left a major impression on you.
Yes.
I think we all have that one teacher in our mind. And this is the impact of a teacher leadership. This is the impact of the teacher presence in the classroom. Teacher presence is about how you present yourself, how consistently you talk about certain things, how positively you talk about certain things. and in all fairness. No bias, no judgments, nothing. Then what you're talking about is, you're talking about certain leadership qualities which the children need from you the most. What are they? This is a food that I would want. This is something that I want you to think about. What are those leadership qualities that you think the students need most from me? And I want everyone to either type it in the chat box or speak out loud. I've kept the chat box open in front of me, and I think it is for everyone to see it. So please let me know. What is that one quality also, if you can just tell us, that you think that the children need from you? Any one quality. Then we need to move on to a lot of student engagement strategies.
Some way of communication.
Okay.
If
Ruchi
I'm
ji
free to
says
my child,
communication.
if I'm free to talk to my children, they are free to talk to me. They should not hesitate while coming to me.
Okay, great. Deepak ji, not a word till now. Can you just share some strategy with us? That's something that the children need from you. Sangeeta ji. Miss Nidhi Singh. Miss Sumati Mahajan. Deepika Joshi. Helping hand and being polite. All right. Very nice. Thank you. Juliet. Deepika Joshi. I've only received 2 till now. The qualities: a helping hand, politeness, communication. All right, I'll not put more time in that because we only have about half an hour left and we still have to discuss a lot. Moving forward, some real classroom studies, real classroom challenges. Here I'm going to put in 10 minutes activity and I want you all to start thinking about it. Okay, there are some more: understanding others' perspectives, adaptability, and encouragement. Okay, great. Thank you. Now, this is a real life challenge. 5 students continuously talk while instructions are being given. What would you do? Anybody who has, I'm going to give you, so I don't think we have 10 minutes because we're already at 5 p.m. right now. We only have half an hour. I'm going to give you certain scenarios, give you 2-3 minutes to think, and if anybody has something to talk about and share some strategy. A student refuses to participate in group activities. Here, one case, there is a group that is continuously talking. The other one is, there is a student who's completely isolated, doesn't want to talk. Then there is a class that becomes very noisy after lunch every day. What do you do with that class? And there is a very high achieving student who dominates every discussion. Every discussion. And I really want you people, everybody. Juliet, thank you for the answer in the chat box for the previous question, but now I need you all to start thinking on this particular scenarios, these scenarios that I've put in here. Just about 2-3 minutes of time is what you have, and I want you to come back with it. You guys want to collaborate with each other? Just ping yourselves. Ruchi ji, you have a question or do you have an answer for one of the scenarios?
I just want to, actually, I was only speaking. I thought somebody else is also going to speak. That's why I just raised my hand.
Yeah, I would
don't want to
prefer
be the
that
last
somebody.
scenario.
Ma'am,
I
in
don't want to
scenario
be the
one,
last scenario.
Yes.
Ma'am, in the first scenario, I think the 5 students are continuously talking while instructions are being given. I can just change the particular topic which instruction I have given. And I should talk about something else regarding a simple daily experience or little bit, according to their interest, which can grab everybody's attention toward that particular moment. I think so.
Okay, so catch them by a surprise.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Then if a student, ma'am, I think the next one, Nimish.
Yes,
Nimisha ji,
Nimishama.
ma'am, in
yeah.
scenario one, I will act like something, or somebody else will, like a dumb sharab will do that. And these 5 students, they will not say anything. They have to judge them, or they have to do something so that they will involve in that matter without gossiping in other thing.
Okay, so
I
a
will-
particular activity designed for these 5 students.
yes, related to the topic, so that they can judge what I want to say, or what any student want to say, that like this they will judge it
Okay,
instead of
all
talking
right,
each other.
great.
And in second case, a student refuses to participate in group activity. So I will call them, or I will call that particular student, and will uh, act like with her. Means I will involve with her, so that she feel or he feel very good, comfortable, so that like relax in mode.
So maybe you break the ice first and let the child get a little more collaborative.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Ma'am,
Deepika ji, do you
adding
care
to
to?
it,
Yeah,
ma'am,
Ruchi ji,
adding
just
to
one
it, we
second.
can just, yeah.
Just one second. Deepika ji, would you care to just elaborate your point that you've written in the chat box?
Deepika ji, you can unmute yourself also.
Ma'am, actually, I am facing some connection issues.
That's okay. You are
Okay.
very clearly audible right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am, actually, in the first scenario which has been given, what we can do is instead of responding to the situation or just reacting to the situation, we can stay calm for the time. Means what I want to say here is that we should respond to the situation instead of reacting. है ना? Then we can get attention to the problem. We can just set a clear expectations. We should just make the class rules. We should give them, and then and the students who are not doing that, we can just talk to them privately later on instead of doing anything publicly. Or we should just ignore the situation at that time instead of wasting the energy over there. That what we can do.
I think it's a great way. It's just that sometimes you can't ignore it too much because they're actually disturbing the whole class. So at that time, yes, you could just curve it and then take it up privately, separately. That's a very good suggestion because public humiliation is not the answer to any particular behavior.
हम एक्चुअली इग्नोरिंग हेयर मीन्स इज जस्ट मतलब मैम वही जो मैं कहना चाह रही हूँ कि एकदम से रिएक्ट नहीं करना है उस टर्म में थोड़ा सा हमको वहां पे अपने बिहेवियर को हमको एज अ टीचर वी शुड चेक आवर बिहेवियर एंड
बहुत
देन
बढ़िया,
वी कैन
बहुत
टॉक टू
बढ़िया.
देम
Very good, very good, because response is what we all need to have as teachers and no reactions. I think that's great. Very good. Can anybody talk about the third and the fourth scenario also? Every day the class is very noisy after lunch, or there is a high achieving student who wants to answer every single question. I also have these students in the class. A student who is very proactive about understanding about his career. So when I ask questions, he's the one who's answering everything. So I also have my strategy to put that particular child down and then ask other people to answer. Anybody who would want to share something about it? Or I will leave this food for you to think about, to nurture it for some time. Please make sure you put these strategies on Google, on ChatGPT or wherever, and then find out the strategies. This is your homework. I will not want to give you spoon-fed answers for everything.
Ma'am, I used to conduct Simon Says after
Yeah.
this time, and or in the freeze dance. So they will not say anything, they will not do, and they just after some music they will freeze like this and that. So they get means that they enjoy the time that particular and after
Excellent.
that, after doing this all those things, they listen to me what I'm saying. They will focus on more on that topic after that.
Right. Understood. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Let's move forward. Large classrooms. Sometimes you actually have a classroom of 40 children, 45 children in a classroom. How do we manage that? 20, 25, 30 is also a very doable number. But sometimes sometimes I am given sessions where I have 3 sections sitting together for a counseling period. 3 sections, 4 sections sitting together in the auditorium. How do we manage those? To move a
Ma'am,
little
making it
quickly.
more interactive.
Yes, making it more interactive. I'm sorry, I will have to cut down on the interaction a little bit because I think we are going to run behind time. And if we have time, we'll come up with the interaction a little more. I'd loved interactions. I would actually want to cut down on the content and focus more on interactions, but still we'll just go through all of them. If you have a longer teacher talk time without participation, trust me, the large classroom, you will have children sleeping, you will have children dozing off, you will have children distracted, looking out of the window at, the whole ground playing some football match. You will not have children engaged. So too much of talk time by the teacher, your energy is being utilized and is being put into something absolutely futile. Then large classrooms also have a restriction on physical movement. You obviously not allowing the children to move too much because जैसे ही बच्चे move करेंगे, you will have a ruckus in the classroom. So many children moving around. So very limited movement. Then that is also a reason. Then there is a lot of lack of opportunities to interact. Such a large classroom, if there are 45 children who want to talk all the time and answer all the time, or even if 50% want to answer, it becomes difficult to manage. And then there is too much information together that is given. I am never in favor of too much of content being delivered. Even in our webinars, we have too much of content, but then we are adults. We don't have these regular webinars every day as a 40-minute period, right? So we have to have that information together and then use it and utilize it according to our wish. So these are certain very common reasons because of which children will switch off, completely disengage. Attention has to be reignited every 7 to 10 minutes. And this is well researched figure that I'm giving you. Every 7 to 10 minutes, make sure you're asking questions. Make sure you are interacting with just 2 children, 3 children. You're not interacting with everyone. And you're picking up children randomly. You're not picking up children who raise their hand. You're picking up children randomly. So everybody knows after a particular point of time that this teacher will ask anybody to answer. She will not just ask, those 2-3 children who are sitting in the front. Every 7 to 10 minutes, some kind of engagement. Attention is never ever automatic. Even with just 18 people in this particular webinar, I think I've taken quite a few names and they all have kind of woken up that, oh, ma'am's taken my name. So something in the chat box, some kind of answer, some kind of unmuting mic and saying something, at least a little body language straightened up must have happened. So imagine, the child sitting there who's completely disengaged because of information overload. So make sure that there is some kind of an engagement formula being done. Questions are asked, some kind of movement. You see a child drooping, ask him to get up and maybe just switch off one light or fan. Maybe just take a walk in the corridor and come back. Maybe just wash his face and come back. I do that class mein kafi oftenly. When, I have the last period and the children have already had this information overload throughout the day and children really want to doze off. I would want these children to get up, just giving you a 30 seconds break, 1 minute break, move to the washroom, wash your face, flush your face with water and come back. So a 1 minute won't really hamper his learning, but it will probably improve his learning in the next half an hour. Discuss rather than deliver, discuss. And then ask for reflections. Reflections are very important. And please understand, everybody who's listening to you, every time you're engaging a student, every time you're speaking to a student, every time you're involving a student, you are re-energizing your own lesson. It's becoming more and more effective. Please remember that. It's not just about the students, it's about your lesson plan being more effective. Certain attention getters and engagement tools, please make sure that this is a screenshot that you've taken. This is why I wanted to put it here. Again, longer teacher talk time, lack of movement, no interaction, and cognitive overload. 4 very simple things. Just remember them. Certain strategies that will help you rule out this entire engagement problem. Think, pair, share. What is think, pair, share? Anybody who would want to answer? Anybody who would want to answer? What is think, pair, share?
Ma'am, it is like whatever thing we are having thinking, we have to pair it with something which give a direct interaction with the child with a daily thing, and then you should share it. Like if you're having any topic, we have to pair it with something which the students are also interested in.
Real life scenario.
Think, pair,
Connect it.
yeah, real life experience, experiential learning, I could say.
Yes, connect it with something that is happening to them as a real life scenario. Absolutely straight up. And ask them to discuss it with a friend. Ask them to discuss for just 2 minutes. Give them a timer. Give them a countdown. Quick questions. Stand up if you agree with this. So this improves movement. Now you can't expect a 45 children classroom to move around, but you can actually do this standing up and standing down. Sitting down, sorry. So stand up if you agree with me. Sit down if you don't. Stand up if you think this is right. Sit down if you don't. Stand up if you think this is the answer. Simple things. Exit tickets. What have you learned in these 40 minutes? Very important. Exit ticket is something very important. There's a whole webinar that you can do on an exit ticket, entry ticket, exit ticket, and in between learning. There's a whole webinar that you could do. And I think as headmistresses or as teachers also, this is something that you should put forward to your teams, that exit tickets are very important. Then peer teaching. Give yourselves a 5-minute break. Ask one particular student to teach the other one, the partner. And I'm always in favor of partner sitting in the classroom, not individual sitting, individual desks. It really doesn't help. Partner sitting always works better. Random name generators. So something like you don't know the names of all the students, you're not expected to, especially a person like me who walks into a particular section once a week. How would I do this? I wouldn't know. So I would simply ask them that before I come, you make sure that you have your names there. Or I would, give them a particular tagline and I would just call them out. That, okay, can you give me this particular answer? The person with the blue pen, person with the blue bottle. Can you just give me this answer? Random. Very quick quizzes. Please make sure these quizzes are either online or even if they are, as you could do a quiz in rows, or if you could just do it as your exit ticket towards the end. Turn and talk. So if somebody would want to share something, quickly turn around. Raise your hand. Your talk time. Okay, it's my talk time is over, your talk time was on. 5 minutes chaos in the class. Give them those 5 minutes. These engagement strategies really, really help. I would again request you all to just go and find out more about these strategies, because just listening to them here is not enough. There's a lot of research going on about movement-based engagement. When you're talking about movement-based engagement, earlier, very traditionally, it was actually something which is very separate. Used to have a separate period for movement. Even today, a lot of schools will have a separate physical engagement, period, physical activity period, not something that is integrated. Also, there was a sedentary classroom that could be tracked down to the Industrial Revolution, where it was just about, everything was about discipline, about monitoring them, about making them sit and do work to make sure that the workforce was very obedient and the listening type of workforce. But today, there's a lot of research that has gone into the cognitive benefits of physical activity. A simple thing like, let's go to the ground and study today. 45 minutes period, 5-7 minutes of movement. Sit down there and last 5 minutes bring them back to the class. Trust me, their learning goes next level. And in a small classroom, it's even more effective. There's a lot of association between movement and learning today. But still, it is very unheard of in schools. So maybe you could initiate that particular movement to be directly incorporated in your lesson plans. And you need to leverage that cognitive benefit to make sure that children remember and do problem solving with real life scenarios rather than just doing bookish listening. So if you're teaching a chapter of biology, maybe you could take the children out to the ground to actually study leaves and study certain things. Why restrict them in a classroom? Simple movement, high cognitive learning. So that is important. These are some infographics that I just found out and I put them here. 8.5 hours. That is the kind of time children actually sit every day. 20 to 28% children actually meet the guidelines of physical daily activity. So much of obesity, so much of so many problems that are coming into children. And then we say, बच्चे घर में भी जाके कुछ करते नहीं है, बच्चे सिर्फ बैठे रहते हैं. Because we've actually given them the habit. We've given them the gadgets to keep on sitting down and not do anything else. But movement-based learning actually is a very scientific way where you can understand that neurons grow, brain structure becomes more robust. There's a concept of neuroplasticity that comes into it, and the entire learning goes to the next level when there is some little movement incorporated in your cognitive overload time. This is a math and movement kind of resource which talks about this. This is a link for it, which I'm going to be sharing as a PDF. So please make sure that you read more about it. I don't have time to go into details right now, but here I'll just bring the quizzes thing and the exit ticket. Some resources for you to learn. There's Kahoot, there's quizzes, there's Mentimeter, and there's a show of hands. Simple thing in the classroom. So Mentimeter, even if you don't want the children to have gadgets in the classroom, which a lot of IB schools would have it, but if you don't want to have it, a Mentimeter is also, or Kahoot quizzes are also going online. So you could have a simple interactive quiz where voice, the speech to text could be activated. And just about 3 to 5 questions every 15-20 minutes. And that is what children will actually learn from. A very simple activity like, what is my confidence level regarding to this particular chapter today? 3 on 5, 2 on 5, you also need to understand, you will also get a whole feedback on which child is actually learning and which child is not. So very simple things, how it works, and this is a very simple random name generative peer teaching activity that I've put up here. What are the examples? You could just take a screenshot of it. I think I need to rush through it a little bit. Understanding challenging behavior. I don't think this is something very new for us. We all know what challenging behavior is like. We all know what it looks like. They need attention. If anybody wants to say something, you please feel free to raise your hand or even unmute and say it. I've just taken up a little fast pace because I think we are running a little behind time. So there's a lot of attention that this child is wanting, lack of confidence, a lot of peer influence that this child is giving out, is showing. And children coming from personal and family challenges. Here, the teacher is expected to be the behavior detective. Find out the root cause. The constant talker, if you publicly embarrass them, if you tell them, shout out their name, they will do this again and again. But if you have a cue to tell this child that you're doing this again, what I do is I move around in the class and I just tap on the bench a little hard. Just tap a little hard. This particular child knows that he's either disengaged, constantly talking, something that is not desirable. That is what I do. A quick teacher tip. Make sure this child knows that you're appreciative, but at the same time, you need him to sit down. The disengaged student, lazy. बोल दिया हमने उसको lazy है. He just doesn't care. Whatever I say, he doesn't want to listen. Please, he's not lazy. He's just not engaged enough. He doesn't like it enough. Build the connect first. Maybe he wants to learn in a different manner. Maybe he is not that quick a learner, is why he's disengaged. Very little things give him the appreciation. Trust me, little participation also. And if you just get him, get him to get the appreciation at that point, he's going to be engaged in the next class. Oh, this particular student is very difficult to handle. No doubt about this. And this is where your response comes into picture, not your reaction. I think one of the participants definitely mentioned that it is amazing to see how these children will react when you are in a calm and neutral space. If you don't react violently to this particular child, you have to address this behavior, and you are not the expert. Please go to a counselor in the school. Make sure that you are giving them certain options out there. So this defines student might need a little negative reinforcement, taking away of free time. This child will not want to do that. The easily distracted one, the student who's always looking out of the window, who's always daydreaming, who's always thinking about something else. Make sure this particular child is in your proximity. Give him smaller chunks of learning. If you've completed the chapter, don't ask him to come prepared with the whole chapter tomorrow. Ask him to come prepared with a smaller chunk. And then remember that. Just put a sticky note for yourself. Because I know it's not possibly, it's not possible to remember every student's chunk that you've given him. Give him cues that you're getting distracted, come back to the class. Because this child needs that. And this child will go to sleep if you don't give him movement breaks. So chunk, check, and encourage. Give him a small portion, check the learning, encouragement. Very important. So just little bit of work, break, work, break. Diverse learners, there's a whole big, I think 2 hours webinar that we can do on diverse learners. Culturally diverse learners, somebody from South India, somebody from Northeast, developmental delays and disabilities. You could talk about gifted learners, next level learners who will do your problems and get bored if you're doing them again. Socioeconomic diversities. We have a lot of EWS children in our schools now, and they don't come from a background of those corporate kind of parents. And then English language learners, people who don't learn they learn in a different language. That's why NEP says teach in your mother tongue. Please use differentiated instructions. I just mentioned an infographic here so that you all can use this. Make sure the learning happens in the way the child learns, not the student teaches. Make sure that you're understanding the student's needs, and the student understands his own needs and is able to communicate that. Make sure that the content is deliverable, is there for the child to understand. There's a small chunk. Again, go back to chunk, check, encourage. Make sure that he is involved in the learning, not just in the cognitive overload. There are different students and different ways of delivering content. Please make sure that the product delivered is in such a manner that it goes to every single student. It's not an easy task. If you're just, I know you're all sitting with camera switched off and you're making probably faces that, oh, how do you expect us to do that? Yes, it's difficult. Nobody said teaching was an easy task. Not now. Not in today's times. It is not an 8 to 2 task, and it is not an easy task. But then, yeah, that's what we expect of all the teachers. A very simple 5-step framework. Calm, find the root cause, connect with the child. Consistency is the key, and positive reinforcement. The complete takeaway of whatever I have been talking about in the last 1.5 hours. I really wanted to do this particular activity with you, but I think the paucity of time, and we won't be able to do this right now. And I think
how much time it will take? How much time it will take?
It depends on their participation, actually.
Let few of them reply, then let.
Yes,
everybody is not
because
replying.
I really want to make these, webinars interactive is why I get the activities. One challenging student. And what is the strategy you will try next week that you have not tried till now? Anybody who would
Rajesh
want
ji,
to give
can
us
we start
answers?
with you? Rajesh ji, can we start with you?
Yes, ma'am. But
Please.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. What strategy would you try
madam,
next week out of this? Yes, sir.
madam, give me some time.
Sure.
Please take another.
Yeah,
candidate.
okay. Ruchi
Please
ji.
take another candidate.
Yeah, no, Rajesh ji. Ruchi ji, you want
Yeah,
to say
ma'am.
something? Yeah, go
Ma'am,
ahead.
I think I will prefer a little bit critical thinking, something out of the box. Like any
Okay.
student is having I'm having any challenge with a particular student. First thing, what challenge I am facing?
एक minute.
According to that, I'm going to plan critical thinking because I think, and that too according to the student interest.
Very nice. Excellent. I think identifying the student's interest and then identifying what particular strategy you will use to improve his critical thinking is very, very important. Thank you, Ruchi ji. Anybody else? Sangeeta ji?
Now who wants to initiate the things?
Alok Dubey. I think, Twinkle ji, next time onwards, you could have a small reward for somebody who comes out with maximum participation in the webinar.
Sheetal ji, our participants always are there and they are interactive. It's not like that. They are taking some time, but they will reply. Not a problem. आज हमारी रुचि जी थी, वैसे अनीता जी होती हैं. All are there. It's ऐसा नहीं होता. निमिषा जी, दीपिका जी, you want to say something? Yeah, Nimisha ji.
In this case, challenging student,
You can think over it, not a problem. Take time.
What
If
you could do
want.
is you all could probably send out your answers to Twinkle ji and Twinkle ji can share it with me.
Yeah, we can do like that, not a problem.
Right? But please make sure that you're using the strategies that have been talked about today.
If you are thinking, take your time and you can send me, you can DM me or send in the group, not a problem.
Ma'am, can I speak on this
Yes, please.
question?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Ma'am,
please.
Deepika ji, please go ahead.
Suppose,
Yes.
as per the question, one of my challenging situation which I have faced in this classroom is that there are few students who avoid group work, ma'am, because of any nature it can be. So what we use for them is what trick we use. We used to give them a small leadership role in a group. So in this way, we can bring the best out of the student. We can appreciate the effort which he will be putting while we will be giving him leadership role, and gradually we are going to encourage his participation. In this way, we can help this student who avoid group work to become a group person. This we can do, ma'am.
Excellent. Brilliant. I think very well said.
ma'am,
Leadership role
in
instead
my
of
class,
just collaboration.
ma'am, in my class last year, one of his student, he was not able to write copy from the board. Suppose honesty spelling is written, so every time he used to like H, then he will write O, then he will copy. Means single word he used to read, then he used to copy that. So he takes so much time to write all this thing. So after that, I used to told him that you have to read 3 letters at a time. Like HON, you have to read at a time, then you have to write, you have to speak in your mouth HON, then you have to write HON, then after that you have to read again 3 words, 3 letters, then you have to copy. So it will take, you can write fastly. Like this, I have challenged me, face the challenge.
Excellent. I think that's a brilliant way of engaging a student whose hand and body and eye coordination is not that well. That's great. So, of course, you might need to involve the counselors there, but then I think this was a great strategy that you used for him. Did you also change his seating space?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, the first seat or next to my table, I used to sit there only.
Excellent. Brilliant, Nimishadi. Thank you very much for sharing that. Great. Also, a very quick question. Open up your chat boxes. If the student is silent, is the learning happening? True or false? If the student is silent, learning is happening. True, false? Quick chat box answer. Very good. Thank you. You could even unmute yourself. I'm very okay too. Okay, great. Thank you. I think we all know the answer. The student is quiet, absolutely silent. It's not always the thing of learning. It's not, we don't assume that learning is happening. The
Ma'am,
student has to be interactive.
Ma'am, I want to ask one question over here.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, if I relate it on my personality, when I was the student, ma'am, I used to remain silent because I'm a kinesthetic learner, but I understand everything. Learning happens, लेकिन मैं बोलती नहीं थी मैम. तो ऐसे भी बच्चे होते हैं शायद मेरी तरह, who used to be silent, but learning is happening in them. But majority it does not happen, ma'am.
I think we just need to connect with the child and gauge whether this child is a learner who will stay quiet,
yes,
or a learner who would be interactive enough.
Yes,
I think this is where we gauge. That's all.
Yes.
It's always to each his own. It's never like one shoe size fits all. With children, it's never like that. So always remember this. With children, it's always a very different way that every child has to be dealt. You have to find out what this child individually needs and then shape the behavior. The engagement will only come then. Engagement will not come because of you telling the child or just reprimanding or just delivering information. So that's about from me. I think, yeah, house is open for questions. Any comments that you would want to put, even if in the chat box, I will be very happy to know. So anything you want to share with us?
Ma'am, thank you so much. My doubts are very much cleared, and I'm really happy that today we had this interaction. From tomorrow onwards, I will really try some of them in my wings.
You can always connect with me on LinkedIn also, Ruchiji. So if you want to have any, if you have any individual queries, shoot them out to Twinkle-ji and you can always let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Right? Anybody else who would want to say something? Any feedback about the webinar, please put it in the chat box. We'll be very happy to receive that.
We'll be sending the feedback form in the group also, so they can reply in the
you'll get this this PDF
form.
also you will get very quickly.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
Rajesh
this
ji.
class, yes, ma'am. This class is very effective, useful for all of us.
Thank you, Rajesh ji.
Thank you.
And enriching our knowledge. And I want to share one thing with all the teachers who are present here.
Sir.
Yes, actually, ma'am, personally, I am in the habit of helping my students, slight help regarding if there is any poor student, right? We help them with copy. We help them with copy, pen, or books. This habit also should be inculcated among teachers. This I want to say. It will create a positive atmosphere. It is apart from the. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think I quite agree.
Yes, ma'am.
In any way, if you can, just help the children in any way,
yes, ma'am.
I think it's important.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh ji.
Thank you, Rajesh ji. Thank you very much.
With the sessions and questions. Yeah. Thank you,
Thank you,
Shikal ji, for your
everyone.
time and efforts for putting up such a nice PPT and informative session. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We'll be sending feedback form and the certificates in the group itself. We'll be meeting next week now. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you.
All right.
Shikal ji.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.